Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrew Spanyi. I'm the editor of Cognitive World, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Alan Trefler, the founder and CEO of Pegasystems, an author, and a member of our think tank at Cognitive World. Good day, Alan.
Hey, Andrew, real pleasure. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for joining me. It's great. So it's wonderful that we have a chance to talk because we're both process people, or in the States, process people, and we have a long history with process improvement and management. But now the key thing on everyone's radar is artificial intelligence. And a few weeks ago, you wrote on LinkedIn that when it comes to the poor track record of Gen AI pilots, technology is not the problem, it's mindset. And I'm wondering if you'd be kind enough to elaborate on that.
Sure. I think there's a tendency in some circles to take an amazing new technology like Gen AI is, and to think that it's going to just somehow solve all your problems and all your issues. And the key is to use the AI in the right way and to use the right AI for the right purpose. So what some people have done is they have actually taken positions, and you'll hear vendors doing this, saying that what you need to do is create these magical agents, and that these agents will have comprehensive prompts in them that maybe even go on pages that describe a mission that they should follow. And that somehow this agent will figure out the right workflows all by itself and do the right things, even though there are going to be variations in the data that comes in, even though you as a business probably want to constrain the output to certain well-understood outcomes. And even though in some industries, it's really important to treat two customers in a similar way, not do something good for each customer that's wildly different, but to do it in a way that will be able to let you show the regulators that you followed a good process. And so, Pega has taken a completely different approach with our use of AI in trying to create these agents. And it has just taken off like crazy. It's this thing we call Blueprint.
Okay. And how is Blueprint different?
Well, what we say is at design time, it's wonderful to use the reasoning and the creativity of AI. So Blueprint is a design time tool that lets you describe a business problem you have, or lets you even feed in documents. Like if you've got a document of a process flow, you've got a document of record structures, or a document of even an old crappy system. You can even take a video of a legacy system and just drop that video in. Blueprint, which is our design agent, uses AI, uses our best practices, which live in a vector database that we have, to apply how do you do workflows in many situations, uses the information from the customer and grinds it all together in literally just a couple of minutes, and then proposes workflows, dozens of workflows that will solve the different aspects of the different problem. And our vision here is that we've got this incredible workflow engine that knows how to take stages and steps, knows how to interface with systems, knows how to get work done. We're going to use that workflow engine at runtime. We're going to use the AI creativity at design time. We're going to give a person a chance to look at the creativity and tune it or collaborate with their peers and come to a good outcome. And then at runtime, our agent is using the workflow, but it's using the LLM also, but in a very narrow way.
Mm-hmm.
It's using the LLM for language, for semantics, to just take what a person might type and figure out where that would fit in a workflow, or figure out if the workflow is missing something, how to ask a question. Those semantic uses are 100% reliable. They never hallucinate. And so you've got the power of, say, conversational input, but the stability of workflows, but the power that those workflows are now easier to build and more comprehensive than when you had to do them all by hand.
Right. Very interesting. And of course, you mentioned the word customer. Well, we hear so often organizations talking about the power of AI for productivity improvement. To what extent do you think, and I recall that you wrote a book, Build for Change, some time ago. To what extent do you think that organizations are focusing on the customer experience in deploying AI?
Well, I think a lot of them talk about wanting a better customer experience, but I think that they're candidly struggling to get it because you need to really think through the customer experience you want. It's unreliable to just turn that, over to some language model because the experience that your customers will get is going to be heavily influenced by all the other stuff that that language model learned.
Right,
What I think is really important is the customer experience. It's got to be efficient. It's got to be responsive. It can't be too pushy, which a language model can decide if sales are one of its objectives. It can get pretty pushy. But it's also, got to be able to be definitive when it doesn't have an answer.
right.
All of which are things that workflows are great at, but just setting a language model free without the help, without the benefit of a workflow to guide it, I think that's fraught with disaster.
Yeah, yeah, it certainly could be. Absolutely. And of course, these days, a lot of people are talking about agentic AI and, and the importance of collaborating, humans and machines collaborating. And yet it seems to be elusive for for so many companies. Why do you think that is, Alan?
Well, we have the pleasure of working with literally dozens and dozens of companies where you actually see that collaboration working better than I've ever seen it happen before. This really has all taken place just this year,
Okay.
when in June we introduced this latest version of this blueprint technology, which, by the way, small plug, it's on pega.com and it's free. It's available to anybody, and we don't save any of your workflows. So whatever you do there is yours completely. The idea we have is we've got a structure that lets you specify a business problem and then collaborate with the AI and collaborate with our historical experience. Plus, we'll go out to the internet and we'll say, hey, if the person's interested in loan processing, what are the best practices of doing a loan in this type of commercial bank with these sorts of criteria? We take what the internet says and we don't believe any of it. We just grind all of these things together. Our best practices, what the internet says, what the customers ask for. And what comes out of it is wild. And then the customer gets to look at it and collaborate between different groups and different folks online. And they can then tune that workflow, which is a tangible, runnable, operational workflow, and make it operate the way they want. So I love that because it's a combination of jump-starting the thought process, collaboration between people,
Right.
and collaboration between the people and the AI. And it's completely changed our business. It's really amazing.
That is amazing. And certainly, so many companies are struggling with launching pilot programs, proof of concepts. This approach might, in fact, help organizations to scale the deployment of AI, would it not?
Yeah, we've seen it. We've had customers come in and explain. We had a speaker at our Pega World conference this summer, and he got up and talked about how in 100 days they had delivered a very sophisticated system that had previously been expected to take well over a year. And it so excited them that they now have a new motto. Their new motto is no sprint without a blueprint. And
That's good.
yeah, it is good. He said he was going to tattoo it on his arm. I'm not sure I want to go that far, but yeah, no, it's really great when AI can be used to collaborate. And I will contrast this to some of the stuff that was being said at reInvent, for instance, where they were actually saying, you don't need workflows. You don't need to find processes. The LLM will figure it out. And I mean, they actually said that. And, my take on that is a couple of things. One, I think it's fine if somebody is a knowledge worker and just wants to brainstorm with the LLM and think of new ideas, that's exactly fine. That's actually what Blueprint is doing. But when you're running an operation, when you're trying to do things around a set of products and for a set of customers, and in the context of the real requirements of a business, you better be able to describe what you're going to do before you do it. And it's really like a lot of people, I think, have gotten so caught up in this idea of, AGI and
Right.
completely artificial general intelligence
Yeah.
that they think it can do everything. And it's a pretty amazing and magical stuff, but it really needs to be harnessed. And frankly, that's why you see the failures. It's that people have tried to use it outside its lane.
Yep. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, there certainly has been quite a few failures. And while AI has been deployed successfully for incremental improvement in a lot of companies, there are pretty few stories about transformational change.
Well, it's interesting because we've been using AI in our technology since 2010, but it's
Right.
been statistical AI, it's been mathematical AI, which
Yes.
is called machine learning, and shouldn't be forgotten. In this world of generative AI, some people have kind of like said, well, you don't need machine learning anymore. Completely wrong.
That's
You
wrong.
still need to get insight from numbers and from patterns. However, the generative it's magical. You just got to use it in the right way at the right time, and that's what
Yep.
we've tried to focus on.
Well, with all your years of experience, working with different organizations, what would your advice be to leaders today in deploying AI? What do you think, Alan?
I think they need to accept that just because it's a great technology, they're going to have to figure out which type of it applies when. So that would be the first piece of advice. And we divide the world of AI into three buckets. One is the statistical and mathematical bucket. The second is what I would describe as AI features, like being able to write a letter or being able to parse an incoming email and get things out of it. And features, they're a dime a dozen. We've got dozens of them, but customers themselves are writing them themselves. Vendors have hundreds and thousands, and new capabilities like MCP and A2A, which are communications mechanisms,
Right.
make it easy to do it. But the third type, which I think has the greatest promise, is using the AI collaboratively with the team to rethink, to re-envision the business processes and workflows.
Yes.
And that's where we've put, in terms of our huge focus over the last 30 months, that's where we've been putting it, and that's what's turned into this blueprint capability.
That's wonderful. I absolutely think that's the right approach. Collaboration and rethinking, reimagining how the business works. So thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today.
Well, great talking to another long-standing BPM advocate. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Alan. Have a great day.
Thanks.